What's up, guys? It's Mr. Javid, and today we are back on the Pokemon Showdown server. I am back. Took a break from, frankly, everything at the time. Just had to organize some things, man, and sadly, Pokemon had to take a break. And so I was still somewhat active in the Discord, but as far as uploading, I was like, I'll just wait. Especially since Road was done, I didn't feel obligated to. It's been a month since I've uploaded Road, which was a thing that I was dealing with. I was like, I want to take a break, but I can't. When you're doing a series, you don't want to take 2 weeks off or a week off when everybody's waiting on that next episode. So that the Road being done did relieve a bit of like, okay, breathing room. I can get this thing handled. And so here we are. But before we do, I want to make a huge shout out to my man X-Ray Information. My man recently hit top 100. Shout outs to him. He said, I know you've heard this a lot. I don't mind hearing it more. Just wanted to give you a huge thanks. Give a huge thanks to you for doing the road to top 10. I've been a player who lurks in the 1500s, peak 1700s with one Toxic Rogue, pre-home, which is a long time ago, over a year ago. Usually playing Showdown for a long time. If I lose or I get bored of the team I'm using, he stops playing if that happens. But ever since I started watching your videos on how losing is good and the fact that no team is bad until I give it time, learn more about the metagame, gain the knowledge, I improved a lot. Analyzing my win cons at the start of every battle has been an eye-opener for a player like me. So started playing with the Trick Room team because it taught me a lot about finding win cons with those beast mons, and he just hit top 100 for the very first time, and he's going for rank 1. My man was 1500 a month ago, so within a month he's jumped to just 50 points shy of 1900, which is so beautiful, man. Also shout outs to Spooky Z. Spooky recently, I don't know where it's at. Also, shout outs to my boy Azuki. He recently aced his test using the what did I learn, what did I do well method. So I've gotten quite a few people who've aced tests using the same things, and I'm going to go into more detail as to what the hell is going on scientifically behind that. Because I think sometimes the assumption is that, Jam just makes up these things and kind of like tricks everybody and it somehow works, or it's interesting. So I think that's on me. I have not done a good enough job of actually discussing what the hell is going on, right? Because that's important. So in looking at this game, Future Sight plus Surging Strikes is incredible, but let me tell you guys why I picked this team today. You see this Garchomp? Yeah, my guy. That's why I picked it. Whirlpool? What? It's fucking incredible. And Garchomp eats him alive. So we'll aim for Shifu, Destruction, Skarm guards against potential Como-O, Melmetal, Rillaboom. 4 members, Heatran and Slowking are the only 2 members that can touch it, and my Slowking. So these 3 should guard against the majority of his team. Offensively, guards very poorly against my Garchomp on Urshifu, but Garchomp on lead versus Landorus. I guess I do get a bit of value with the what's his face, Draco, but I think Urshifu nets me a better situation as Como-O is his lead of choice. I don't know enough about this Pokemon. Could be helped right. Seems very grounded. I figured Rocks comes out, but the Hazard game, because he's Helmet, it does make things a little more. Oh, what? I just got crushed, and I don't have Hazard control on this team. I've just realized. It's funny. I was gonna lead with let me think, Heatran, Garchomp. So let's he can play this defensively patiently. There is no rush. Heatran is his only mon that can come in that can offensively threaten me. And so I'm thinking, well, if it has taunt, do they run Toxic? Do they run toxic is my question, because when that what that will look like is Heatran coming in. Do they run toxic? What would this thing do? I don't want to be toxic. Him having Rocky Helmet matters. So I'll remove it with Zeraora so we can annihilate his team. So I'll just have to play it a little more patiently. If he body presses, it's not great. I'm a Brave Bird first, so Landorus Therian is his initial switch, which is great for us because he's gonna have to U-turn out, take Rocky Helmet. He could hard switch to Tran, which I think is better. I thought he'd go to some excellent. So that's Garchomp fodder. Yes, the Tran, right? So now Tran forces the Magma Storm, whatever. As I said, the only two things that threaten me are his Slowking and his Heatran. Wait, I don't see an item. What is this? Am I missing something? If I don't see an item, I doubt it's toxic then. I doubt he'd go for something that can't switch in my Heatran, because he gets punished by Heatran heavily. Okay, I don't think he has I'd be shocked if he has toxic. No. Did that pop a blue? No, it says no item. Yeah, I was thinking like, okay, this might be like Eruption Tran or something. Okay. Future Sight on what punishes me? Future Sight on, no, Teleport's better here. He may Eruption again. Yeah, but I figure if you did that, this allows for my Tran to come in. And again, Tran punishes his team heavily, so I wouldn't be shocked if I saw Como come out here. I'd like to Toxic the Como, but the rocks and the spikes are going to provide way too much value. Plus I can Toxic the Como after the fact if I so choose. I just don't know what they run. And so what I'll do is probably start ravaging his team. No, I don't need, there's no rush. Jomp literally like is going to solo his team, like in a sweeper kind of way. That kind of damage I think is specs. Now I can go to Slowking. One more so to regen. If he Toxics here, kudos. But I think these run either EQ or Body Press. Okay, it says EQ, which means he can't touch Slowking. Well, he might be able to. I'm assuming Body Press would be other move, right? So Future Sight here on maybe a Taunt. It's irrelevant what he goes for, frankly, but I figured Taunt would come out. So I know your moveset now, which is great. So now he's in a position where, okay, the only thing he's going to want in on a Future Sight is Tran, Melmetal, and Slowking Galar. So now I can go to Garchomp freely, and it's like, I get a kill here. For sure. Unless he goes Rillaboom. I think even Rillaboom, Life Orb Quake, even though I have no attack investment. So it just gives me the Slowking Galar, which opens up, I guess, Urshifu CC. I mean, it does, but you know, actually opts for Landorus. This must be Scarf then. This is a. Do I wanna? I was just thinking if he's not Scarf, if he's Scarf and he EQs, do I want to take that? Because like, well, if I kill this, then I guess every time I click CC, he loses a mon, whatever. So it is Scarf. I was debating going Scarf, but it's pretty tough to, for my, even without my Life Orb. I just didn't think if he was Choice Scarf. One, if he was Choice Scarf, he'd die, which means what's his face would get a bit more opening. SD really concerns me. I'm willing to sacrifice Skarm to Muscle Pass SD. Okay, so his U-turn, which implies Banded, which implies Heatran, and you don't want Heatran versus Slowking in grassy terrain. Especially as healthy as I am. Especially because I have Tran. He could be like Bloom Doom or something like that, but whatever. If he does, he does. Slow King's core purpose at this point is, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like with the terrain up, this ain't what you want. So Future Sight here plus Chomp again is a problem. Future Sight here plus he crit me. Fucking fantastic. That's annoying. That's a big crit. It's a really big crit, like a really big crit. The game was pretty much over without that. Now it's a little more annoying. That's frustrating. I won't lie to you. That is frustrating. So I can't lose Tran for his own. But right now Skarm walls all his members except the Tran. But I get a kill every time Urshifu comes in. I get a kill every time Garchomp comes in too. There's the Tran. He has to probably Earth Power. Zeraora is the weakest. The one Zeraora wouldn't die. He needs for me to choke and sack something. Zeraora shouldn't die to Fire Blast. Eruption either. Yeah. Earth Power kills. So I could go Skarm and heal, because that would prevent the Como from being as annoying. Or I could go Urshifu and get a KO. Go Urshifu, sacks Rillaboom. Or sacks. Como should die between. Man, that crit is annoying. But I mean, I guess I could have switched back to Tran. You know. I just know, I knew if I got the Future Sight off there, the game was over for sure. And I wouldn't have lost any Pokemon. Because right there, I go Tran, force your Future Sight. Force your Future Sight, you know what I'm saying? So, Skarm, so he sacked Chomp here. Especially if he U-turns. I figured he'd go for something that was not. I think he's banded. If he's not, I don't even have to risk this, but thinking if I go Urshifu, CC goes to if I go to Urshifu, CC, he goes to, I mean he sacks Urshifu, goes to Tran. I sack Skarm on his Eruption. I Earth Power twice on Melmetal. But if the Melmetal is AV, that won't work. If I go Skarm here, Roost twice. I think I made this. There are a couple ways I can play this out. But I made this a little too close. But he played his Heatran to its you know, like he played it to the, and I also have Aqua Jet, so that's the thing. If he loses this, if I could, there are several ways to go about this actually. I don't think Earth Power ever kills. I'm surprised Earth Power KO'd my Zeraora. I think this Tran is, you know what I could have done? Tran is probably slower than, I think Tran is always slower than Zeraora. That was also, so Melmetal is gone, which means I no longer need, I do need Skarm, but I no longer need to be so pressed. So he Rillaboom, which I disagree with. I think now he guaranteed loses, because you can't even super power kill me. You can't Earth Power kill Urshifu. So let me think, if I gave up Tran here, went Skarm. If I gave up Tran and he's super powered, I'd go Urshifu close combat. Then I'd Aqua Jet spam. There are a couple ways to go about this, but I think this is foolproof. Yeah. Especially because he's super power locked. I just Surging Strikes and it's done. Yeah. Or I could Aqua Jet too. But nah. Surging Strikes is a for sure win. Yeah. Because now he has the Grassy Glide lock, which obviously Tran beats. There were several ways to go about winning this. I think it would depend on just what he sacked. Since he sacked Melmetal, I was like, okay, well, I don't need to I'll decay a lot. I don't need to sack Rillaboom. What was I saying? I don't need to I forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, also for you guys who like, man, damn, I missed the road. One, I'll get back up to on this account. I'll ladder back up to where you guys can get the quality content. But that's something that I'm not gonna unveil for you guys who enjoyed the road. But ultimately, I failed the challenge, right? Like, we had a cap. Excuse me, was 10 losses to top 10. Didn't make the 10. We pushed it because so many were enjoying it. But beyond that point, if I just stop playing with the loss cap in mind, it's just a regular live, right? So it's not a challenge anymore, and that's something that I've had to have a couple conversations on. It's the point for me was not like the mysticalness of hitting top 10. It was that challenge of doing it within a certain amount of losses. Most of you guys understood that, but I did have a few questions on that. So it's funny, I think the guy had a comment just now, even though the only reason he was remotely in the game is because he crit my Slowking. But yeah, sorry. My opponent guards pretty poorly against Zero Aura and Garchomp. Garchomp more specifically, but Zero Aura as well. I don't know how much Draco does to Urshifu, but we're gonna find out. My Urshifu Rapid Strike is a huge problem, so I assume that's Helmet Corviknight, which is even better news for Chomp. Slowking's primary purpose is to assist as a pivot for Lele, pivot for Tran, somewhat pivot for Primarina as well. I'm not certain what that thing does. He really doesn't have shit to kill my Slowking other than that Garchomp, and we'll find out what that shit is, especially if I force it in. Future side switchings are going to be Corviknight, Lele, and Tran, but all of which are food for Zera. So future sight, so very great lead for him. Great lead. I need to find out what Primarina does. If it's something like Subcom Mind, or that'd be concerning. I think if I had to pick a win con, I'm gonna lean towards Zera. I think the only way that doesn't work is one of these guys are Scarf, Lele or Shifu, or Chomp. I mean, I guess people can run Scarf Chomp, but I think I can get his team to a point where Zera wins. Now, in those situations, you have to then begs the question, how do I do that, right? And so that's what we're on the mission of figuring out right now. A sub CM set would be really problematic. I'd almost have to give up on mine to break it. But that's risky, because if you're sub CM, then if I'm SD Chomp, I mean, figure like who stays in with Chomp on Primarina. But maybe Sash Chomp. It's been a minute since I'm getting caught up to the metagame. So every time I'm on like evolution of things come about, and I'm like, okay, Sash Chomp, okay, Helmet Chomp is back, okay, people are running, like for the example, this Life Orb Whirlpool, like how cool is that, right? So flip turn, ooh, okay, I like that. The problem is Slowking beats so much of your team. Like Slowking literally, if he specs, then it's even better. And so he opts for Chomp, which is great. Like I want to see Chomp Come on, man. We just talked about that. Now, Slowking is super important to my team, but I would never die there. I have a ton of defense. So I'd never die. I'd get the Scald, potential burn. That is unbelievably frustrating, man. But we just gotta make do. That's the name of the game, right? Make it harder for Jam. Especially if he's mixed. Okay. Well, what I'll do is... Well, if he's mixed... if I lose Urshifu, whatever. Like, it's not whatever, but I can still win the game. But... I'm a CC on the off chance the Corviknight is Rocky Helmet. I want to make sure I take one helmet with that. If he goes Lele or Urshifu with there, that's far worse for me. But I'm not out this game yet. Ideal situation is he leads the Chomp in, which is why we just talked about, okay, for me to destroy him I need Chomp beat down, which is why I was like, okay, I'm willing to in the short term take the damage. I can get the slack off later on with my Slowking, or I can switch regen. It's funny because this one had Ice Beam on it at one point. But yeah, so Primarina comes in, doesn't enjoy that. Is this shit scarfed? No way you run Scarf Primarina, it's way too slow. Yeah. Oh my lord. So the fact that he went Primarina hard implies to me that it's either Spadef Corviknight or it's like this is like the freest Focus Blast of all time. I don't have any fighting resists. But Heatran is pretty low value for him to hit the Focus Blast. Yeah, like for you to hit that. I don't think you deserve it. I don't think you deserve that at all. Now the question is, do I rather, like I could Toxic his, I think value wise Stealth Rock is saying more to me right now. And now Chomp is gonna eat him alive. Like this is an immaculate position for me, because I keep trend, I can Chomp, I can hard Chomp, forcing, like what forces, I could force a kill with Urshifu. I could force a kill with Chomp, but what's the hardest for him to deal with? Chomp. Like offensively, like he earth powers, but now you gotta give me a Mon. Unless yeah. Oh, he actually he expected me to SD or something. Which makes sense. That the way he's playing is telling me like you're not choiced. Like you'd never go Lele unless you're Scarf. If he Focus Blast, yeah, he's Scarf, which means the Focus Blast miss mattered less. Yeah, we'll just Earth Power here. Yeah, because every threat that he could possibly go into are irrelevant. Primarina should die. Whoa. Flip turn. He'd need to be timid to outspeed me. That matters because his Lele is problematic. I still can win without Tran. But yeah, you'd have to be timid specs to outspeed me. And I know it's not that deep. So Skarm score purpose here. Frankly, Skarm beats almost everything left. He's Life Orb, obviously. I'm thinking of SD. What I'm concerned about is potential SD Fire Fang, but which one do I care more about, Lele or Skarm? Yeah, I'm actually gonna just stay in Toxic here. I knew he was gonna SD, but yeah, that's perfectly fine by me. So Fire Fang is a set now, cool. Fire Fang's doing 64%. That's probably a roll. You won't even have Fire Fang again. No, he should, because he's like, well, at this point, because Urshifu just eats his team alive. Zero Aura just eats your team alive. And the Scarf Lele. If you're Scarf Lele, I like Chomp. yeah, it was a roll. I figured, but I think everything I have left gets the job done. Like, for example, if force Lele in here, he goes Corby. That's best case. Like, you never want to go to something that can't guard against Zera. It's Fizz Def Rocky, which surprises me. Doesn't surprise me that it's Fizz Def Rocky. It surprises me that he didn't go to it from jump. VS on, yeah, it's better to VS than take another roll, because if the Urshifu has Aqua Jet in its protective pads, it can get a little annoying. I go Chomp, bait out Urshifu, which should feel comfortable, and then force the Lele to lock itself into a move. She goes Lele first. For him to prevail, he'd need what? He'd need to Focus Blast. Because I want a mod in that when I send it in, it guaranteed gets a kill. So if he... my player is probably to go to Urshifu. Sacker Urshifu. If he's Psychics, that doesn't work. No, my player is actually still to go Heat Train. Even if he... because this doesn't solve your problem. Because now all I do is force you to lock yourself in a CC. And at best it's a speed tie. Yeah, you're bandit confirmed. So I force yourself to lock yourself into CC. If you win the speed tie, if you won the speed tie there, I went to Chomp and EQ and the game's over. So, you know, it pretty much had no shot there. At this point, I guess he's gonna Focus Blast spam. I'll keep this just on the off chance that he, so I can get the Aqua Jet KO. Like if he hits all the Focus Blasts, I can just KO him with Aqua Jet for sure, to avoid any kind of 100 crits and all that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this team. Very fun team. Shoutouts to Gay Skeletor. I'm gonna find one more, but man, like it's been super dope to see just like how many people have grown. And as I said, you know, time management is something that I'm actively working on. I want to be careful with my words. I don't want to call it a weakness, you know what I mean? But it's certainly, I wouldn't put it in my top 5 strengths. So, you know, I'm very big picture. So, like, if I were, or at least in my ventures and how my relationships have been up to this point, I tend to be the mover and shaker, get the people and things of that nature. But the micromanaging, the scheduling and that kind of stuff, you know, doesn't come as naturally as I'd probably like. So I'm getting better. So bear with me, my friends. So as our final game, I love that Galarian Zapdos. I love what I'm seeing. This Garchomp set is quite impressive. I must admit, I'm quite impressed with it. Skarmory, he has 2 potential hazard controllers. I love Zera in this. If I can lure out, he's very terrified of Chomp. If I can lure out Lando with my Chomp, weaken that. Zera is very problematic. E-Train is for Latios. Skarm only can be touched by his Latios and Finny potentially, both of which are semi-checked by Slowking, you know, kind of, because Finny's a funny monster. He can trap Slowking depending on his set. I'll watch out for Finny. Other than that, my close combats are going to be my greatest asset. Question is just how I want to start this off. I think the least danger, the thing I'm fearing most, or the thing I'm fearing most, I lose too much if I like Finny's, but Finny's not an offensive fear. It's more of like a that's the most annoying Latios, I have several answers. The question is just what he wants to do, right? Like if you start with Latios, he has some trickery. Let me see, 16. Oh, he definitely has some trickery. I just don't know. It could be literally trick. My least useful member is Slowking if something was to get tricked. But you just Dracos. Man, I need the Spadef. But I put the defense in there for shit like Barrascuda. 64. I mean, it says I got the roll. Like it's basically what I'm saying is I should be able to just teleport, but he didn't. Okay. What I was saying there is like it seems like I have the roll. Like maybe even Latios. Actually, I disagree with my Latios player, but he doesn't go to Finny, which gives me info. Like Finny's definitely what I expected there. So let's see what your. It's okay. You knocked my helmet off, which is bad for me. The question is just what is your defogger, if there is a defogger, because I don't want to just waste time going. But he doesn't have an item. Obviously he has an item jam. What I can do here, if the Finny has defog, my Slowking comes in infinitely on that. One more itemless mon. So here comes the trickery. This is bound to have trick. Don't really have anything to deal with that. So here goes Slowking again. It specs Latios, obviously. I'll give him my heavy duty boots. Because then you... Unless he has taunt as well. Or maybe he has defog. Is it trick D? What the fuck? Trick defog. Not happy to see that, but... Trick defog. I guess that's standard. Whatever. He's really weak to Urshifu. It's close combat. It looks great here. Jam, yeah, it's like 4 fighting resist. You'll see. So that's a little disappointing. I must admit. I must admit to the disappointment. It does open up. My Garchomp is significantly more problematic now though. So I'm surprised Ferrothorn is his initial switch, considering it just gives me back the hazard you wanted gone. Or maybe he didn't think it through enough, especially if he goes to Garchomp. Nox. Yeah, that was problem with this now is you lose a ton of value. Yeah, if I hit if I hit there a ton of, like, do you see my Zero Aura versus his team? If I hit that Landers there, done. This game was done. Now Skarm is really hard for him to kill. But U-turn. I'm gonna offensively position myself. Well, maybe the Zapdos. I know he's gonna U-turn, but I didn't think about Zapdos there. But that's probably choice band Zapdos. That Magma Storm miss was huge, but I mean it's Magma Storm, right? I don't. Well, I guess if the Latios is somewhat concerning. Finny's definitely something I want to see to repeatedly U-turn the damage off until I can Rapid Strike kill it. Especially because, well, I'd assume you're gonna just Moonblast twice, expecting Slowking. Because soon Garchomp will be able, but him hitting my Heatran, I want to be careful because the Latios could become concerning. Because what I want to do is Heatran, pivot, Slowking. If he Hydros first, it puts me in an awkward bind. But it just doesn't make sense to me to Hydro Pump. Because Slowking comes into 50, you're probably doing 30 something with. I don't think I can play this one as safely as I'd like. If he Hydros, kudos. Yeah, Moonblast. If he Hydros after this, then good play. I mean, if he Moonblast again, good play. Yeah, so, oh yes, sir. So this is great because it gives me the positioning back. So you're only doing 21. Okay, never mind. I didn't need to do all that extra shit. And the fact that he only has Surf means even if Zero Aura, so he doesn't want me Volt switching on his Ferrothorn, so he should go Landers this time. Or maybe he doesn't give a fuck. because he's playing to the point where soon I'll be able to just knock it out with spikes, no metal. I'd assume you'd leech seed my Scarm. Because as I said, Scarm can potentially beat his entire team by itself. He power whipped though. Surprised that part. Does he not have leech seed? So I'll roost here. Okay, I knew you had leech seed. Okay, unless you have spikes as well. There's a Latios, so I'll take that. I'm a little lower than I'd like to be, but I'll take it. Unless he has Aura Sphere or something. Heatran should at least be able to come in once. Draco, yeah. Shit, that did a ton. 37. Not pleased with that. 37, he kills me with the next one. It's crazy, you might even 2-hit kill Scarm. I don't think he 2-hit kills Slowking. Slowking took 30 something from the second one. You might. Okay. I want to keep as many sacks as possible. It's a big miss. It's a huge miss. That's a huge miss because now I get to teleport, and that's not what you want. Which allows for my Urshifu to come. The reason I'm going Urshifu is one, I don't ever die, but two, it ensures that I get a ton of value this turn. Yeah. Perfect. I needed that gone. Either way, that wasn't really a prediction. Close combat was just the move that took the most value from the opponent. The spikes or whatever, like I actually kind of want you to get rid of my rocks. At this point, he has no reason not to just go for the hard Moonblast. But if he defogs, kudos. I'm debating whether I want to just CC again. Actually, I'm gonna CC here and allow him to knock this out. Yeah. Go to the Garchomp. I'd like to see Lando. Yeah. Actually, on my no. Draco isn't reduced because I think the mon that's flying has to. Oh, it is reduced. So that's what I thought. That's what I thought it meant. Like there was a So obviously this now opens up Zero Aura, but that's how I thought it worked. Draco 36. I'm not glad that. So I thought I don't remember who it was, a comment. They were like, "Nah, Jam. If the mon is grounded, then the terrain doesn't work." I'm like, I don't remember that being. But let's Draco again here to ensure he dies to hazards. He does U-turn though, so that's great for us. You know, obviously now Zero Aura can just Volt Switch, knock off, all that stuff. And the fact that he didn't control the hazards, because now he's in a really big bind. He's gonna lose him. Like the problem is because I'm still Life Orb, he can't even go to Finny. Yeah, you gotta go Latios. Yeah. And especially because you Psyshock locked. I don't think I was gonna say I don't think that right now Zero wins. The Finny defogs, leftovers Melmetal. My Earth Power here. Latios coming in would be actually a pro for us. Finny coming in would blow. I just don't want to not get any damage on this. So I'm just going to continually Earth Power. Finny coming in, he has to defog. My Keytran is alive, and you get to give me, yeah, I no longer need Slowking. Offensively, Slowking just doesn't do it as much. And now I get to go to Zeraora and punish. And since the Melmetal can't even touch Skarm, I teleport here, let him CC. Right. I just Plasma Fist into Volt Switch into Melmetal. I could close combat here, but it's way too risky. Did I pay attention to that damage? Is he Scarf? Did I pay attention to that damage? 30%. That seems kind of low. Hold up. Hold up. Am I about to get waxed? I actually did not check that damage. I don't. How much timer do I have? 60. Fuck it. He's Scarf. Good fucking game, man. Scarf, Galarian, Zapdos. So now I lose, obviously. So my play there was to go to Skarmory and Toxic. Scarf. I was looking at that. I was like, that seems kind of low for Banded. Yeah, no regrets. He goes hard Latios, which is good. But without my helm, like I can't. If I had Iron Defense kind of deal, then yes. But probably Tricks or Dracos or whatever. I don't know. He just needs my Skarm gone. Yeah. I figured he'd Trick. And I wanted to go to Heatran there, but I don't know if that would have solved anything. No, it would have been better than this. It would have been better than my Skarm being scarfed. Because now the Melmetal just swallows me. Is that true? Yeah. Well, this shit has U-turn, so it can just U-turn out. I don't know. I might be able to win. CC's. Doesn't know I have Brave Bird. He's gonna. What would I need for him to do to choke? I'd need for him to leave Zapdos in. Nah, that still doesn't work because the Latios can kill me. I can't believe he caught me. I thought I had him in the bag right there. One big turn though was the Misty Terrain, and I always thought that was how that mechanic worked. But I do remember thinking that's how it worked. And somebody was like, oh, Jam, nah, you know, the Mon has to be, unless it's the other way around. And I was, no, I know Misty Terrain doesn't affect things. So it wasn't like a Latios Dracoing. I know terrains don't affect. But I remember being in that situation. And they were like, the Pokemon that is getting hit is the one that the Misty Terrain matters on, not the one that's using the Dragon move. But right there, obviously, was a Landorus Garchomp interaction. Landorus is not getting the benefits of Misty Terrain, but my Draco still didn't kill. Draco killing there would have meant Chomp would still be alive. But yeah, ultimately there it came down to me just going to the wrong one and thinking that Zeraora had it locked up. So kudos to the opponent for his surprise choice card, Zapdos. But yeah. That's pretty much going to be it for today. I hope y'all really enjoyed using this team. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.